It's the news in review, coming right at you. Where three delightful animals have fun with what they do.
When it comes to 70s kid shows, I don't think any of them was as strange as the new Zoo Revue. Sure, at the time, Captain Kangaroo could get strange. After all, ping pong balls fell on his head. Mr. Rogers at times even felt strange. And anything by Sid and Marty Krofft was far out there in Strange City. But for me, new Zoo Revue gave Strange a whole new level when it premiered in 1972. The show mixed comedy and music with live action actors interacting with three strange-looking characters. I was going to call them puppets, but it's people in outfits, so I don't really think I can call them puppets. But for this video, I'm just going to call them puppets. Maybe you want to call them mascots. I don't really know. But let's get back to talking about the show. Like many of the kid shows of the day, it would focus on topics that young kids were interested in, and at times, even topics that kids feared and had questions about, such as moving away from your friends, how to be patient, how to be curious, and when not to brag. The show was hosted by real-life married couple Doug and Emmy Joe. A lot of us young boys remember Emmy Joe because she at times would wear the smallest skirts to ever dance across a TV screen. This was long before we fell in love with Daisy and her Dukes. I don't think we even knew at the time why we loved looking at Emmy Joe so much and why our dads enjoyed watching the show along with us. For many Generation X kids, Emmy Joe became the first crush before they even knew what a crush was. Now let's get back to those puppets on the show, or mascots, whatever you want to call them. There was Freddie the Frog, Henrietta Hippo, and Charlie the Owl. They were somewhat between cute, loving, and downright horrifying. As a kid, you weren't sure to watch them or look away in fear. Freddie, of course, was the frog, a very fun-loving frog, but a little naive. He was one of the three that came off more as a kid, closer to the age of the viewer of the show.
Charlie, I did something terrible.
So what else is new?
I wrote an excuse to my teacher for being absent and I signed your name.
Why, that's forgery.
Henrietta, of course, was a hippo, and she wore a tutu. That's right, a big hippopotamus in a tutu. She was a bit shy and also was a Southern belle, and she had the biggest nostrils I ever seen on television. Look at these things, massive.
Ladder optimist?
Do you know what an optimist is?
Of course. That's a doctor who checks your eyes.
That's an optometrist, Henrietta. An optimist is a person who always looks on the good side of things.
That's me, all right. And my eyes are fine, thank you.
As for Charlie the Owl, of course, he was the owl. As you can guess, he was the smartest of the three. He was serious, he was wise, and he lived on top of a tree that you could get to by elevator.
What are those things moving around down there?
Shh, they're ants, you dodo. I'm studying their work habits to help me on my experiment to invent a new lifting thing.
Gee, ants.
Then there was Mr. Dingle. Mr. Dingle. He was played by Love Connection host Chuck Woolery. He was the friendly postman, but also at times would be a shoe salesman and kind of a fixer-up guy that could do anything. Mrs. Goodbody was a nosy neighbor who would visit the show time to time. She was kind of like the Dear Abby of the New Zoo Gazette. At times, even guest stars would drop by the show. I guess you can call them guest stars or just actors that needed a job, because most of them kids wouldn't even recognize. Maybe Jim Backus, the millionaire from Gilligan's Island, kids might have recognized. But also appearing on the show was Jesse White, best known to most Generation X kids as the Maytag repairman. And then there was June Lockhart. We saw her on Lassie, Lost in Space, and Petticoat Junction. She played a shy woman named Penelope Porter. Family Feud host Richard Dawson appeared on the show as a knight from England. And the Laugh-In star Joey Ann Worrell appeared as a talk show host, Vanessa Gramcracker. One thing that always felt strange to me as a kid was the title, New Zoo Revue. The new makes it sound like this was some kind of remake of a classic show. You probably asked your mom or your dad, hey, did you watch the old Zoo Revue? And they didn't know what you were talking about. But it seems they added the new to the title because at this time, early morning kid shows were mostly reruns from old kid shows from the 60s. They wanted us kids to know, hey, this isn't some old show from the 60s, this was new. Also as a kid, I could have sworn it was called Revue, R-E-V-E-W. You know, like you review something. Years later, it would hit me that it was spelled review, R-E-V-U-E. And that kind of review means a stage or TV show made up of short musical numbers and skits. And that makes a lot more sense.
There, that does it. Now, when Henrietta comes out here, I want you to put the veil over your face so that she won't know who you are.
Well, if you say so, Doug, but gosh, I hate to fool Henrietta like this.
Can you think of a better way to straighten out the fool thing I've done?
The show ran for about 22 minutes and would stay on the air from 1972 all the way till 1977 with a total of 196 episodes. You think somebody could give him 4 more episodes so we could get an even 200, but we didn't get it. The show kind of looked like some cheap local TV program, but it was filmed in California, Burbank, California. And I can only remember 2 locations ever being seen on the show, the outside area and the inside of the treehouse. Now, I'm not going to lie. I haven't sat down and watched a full episode since the 70s, so there could have been more locations that I just don't remember. This show was syndicated, so it came on at different times throughout the country. And in my area, it must have came on super early, because I can't remember ever watching this show like during the summer break of school. Every memory I have of this show was watching it at my grandmother's house when I was sick and didn't go to school and got dropped off at her house early when my parents went to work. So if it came on at 7 a.m., I wasn't getting up that early to watch no damn hippopotamus in a tutu. Now, if I don't talk about one of the most famous TV outtakes, the comment section on this video is gonna go crazy. People's gonna tell me how I forgot to bring it up, or they're gonna say, hey, have you ever seen this clip? As you can imagine, these puppets, or whatever you want to call them, the guys in the costumes, were adult. And doing kid-friendly scripts, take after take, could get boring. Or they stand around their big costumes and have to wait some time while they got the lights all adjustment and everything. So adults did what adults do. They had a little fun. One of these fun outtakes or behind the scene clips would make it onto YouTube, and probably more people saw it than even remember the show.
You know, Freddie, it's been a long 16 weeks, but I just want you to know, even though I've been a little tough on you, I really do like you.
Oh, go fuck yourself, Charlie!
Hey, you green son of a bitch. I've been putting up with you. I've been showing you mercy.
You're nothing but an old faggot!
One stinking night you caught me with my cousin Arson and you got the guts to call me a faggot.
Yeah, well, you've wanted me since the start of the series!
Well, now that it's all out in the open, we might as well have a ball.
How about 2?
By the 80s, the show had faded from a lot of the memories of kids. It didn't have the staying power as Mr. Rogers and became somewhat of a foggy memory, with kids asking, what was that show with that talking frog? Or they would say, remember that show with the weird puppet things? Or they would say, remember that show with that cute girl in the miniskirt who was friends with a hippopotamus in a tutu? This might not be the first show that comes to minds of a Generation X kid when talking about childhood shows, but anyone that has fond memories of sitting in front of the television as a kid remembers this show. Now, this wouldn't be the only time we got a talking frog on a kid TV show, because a frog got his own show on PBS called The Clyde Frog Show.
I didn't know it was loaded. You could have shot. Yipes! Clyde Frog!
That's right, Clyde. Guns are very dangerous.
But we'll save that for the next episode of Forgotten 70s Kid Shows.
Anybody with an ounce of understanding and feeling would know not to come between me and my record player.
Well, what did they want it for anyway?
Some stupid neighborhood dance.
That is stupid. Dancing is a total waste of time.
Yeah, especially when there isn't any music.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.